Okay, can I just... I was going to talk about Pete Buttigieg first, but I think I'm going to talk about me first, because I think this is more interesting. Not because I'm talking about me, but just some stuff, okay? Now, ever since I have moved here, I would say 3 years in, maybe, I started getting the Casey, you should run for mayor of South Bend bit, right? Now, I've never been qualified to run for mayor of South Bend. I don't live in South Bend. Now, what we understand, though, with local politics is that, you know, if you don't live in the place you're running for office for, that doesn't really seem to matter all that much, because a lot of Democrats don't live here and they run for office here. It's a routine sort of a thing. So I've never qualified for running for mayor of South Bend, just my residency and all of that stuff. But I've constantly been getting this over the years, okay? Constantly getting, you should run for mayor of South Bend. All right. To which I've always said, no, I don't want to be mayor of South Bend. Nor do I think I would win, because it's South Bend, and let's be honest, I am who I am. I always joked, okay? Joked that if we're Elkhart, maybe it's a different story. Joe, ask me how many times I've been asked to run for mayor of Elkhart since I moved there 3 months ago.
Casey, how many times have you been asked to run for mayor?
Five times. Once before the election. 5. Okay? So, I have given it some serious thought, and I will not be running for mayor of Elkhart. Not going to happen. So I'm not interested. Doesn't pay enough. All right. Now, it pays a lot more than I make, but it still doesn't pay enough, to be perfectly honest. However, this got me thinking, though. And by the way, I just want to say, I'm very appreciative of all of you who've reached out to me and said, you should run for the mayor of Elkhart. Do I think I'd do a great job? Absolutely. Do I think I could win in Elkhart? Yeah, I think I'd have a chance at winning in Elkhart. But no, it's not for me. It's not for my family. But thank you very much for having that faith in me. But if I were to run for mayor of Elkhart and I were to win, there's this transitional phase, right? This happens with every administration. Joe, you familiar with the transitional phase? Where the new people who are the elect, they meet with the people who are in office now and they talk about transitioning power, okay? Now, Joe, I get it. You're young. You probably never thought about running for mayor of anything. But if you had won as the mayor of Elkhart, and let's just say you were to sit down in this transitional meeting with members of the council and the current mayor's administration, what are like the 3 questions I suppose you would probably have that would be critical to you becoming mayor of the city? You have any idea what you would ask? Because there's some information you need, right? Any idea?
No.
As a 19-year-old, no idea what you would ask. Nothing. All right. Okay. Just again, keep in mind, I'm an outsider here, but I would assume, if I didn't know the information already, I would assume that one of the first things that I would do is, what's the unfinished business that I have to pick up first thing when I get into office, right? Okay. Because there's always lingering business that didn't get done before the last administration leaves office. So you want to make sure you have that, and you don't ignore something or drop the ball, right? You got to make sure that you pick the ball up right where it was. It's kind of like the baton in track. You know, you've got to pass off that baton and you got to keep going, right? So I assume that would be one of my first questions. I then assume that the next question that I would have, by the way, all I'm doing is just adding to people wanting me to run for mayor right now by mentioning this stuff, especially when you hear what I have to say afterwards, because I'm going somewhere with this, okay? Just so you know. Then I suppose the second question that I would have is, all of the businesses that have been talking about investing and negotiating investing in Elkhart and wanting to move operations in Elkhart, you know, who are they, so I can call them and address any potential concerns they have based on the outcome of the election? Because there's always that. We had Brian Dickerson, the president of the city council in Elkhart, in here right before the election. He said there's a company looking to move here and invest $270 million. Are they concerned that the new mayor embraces Antifa? Okay. Are they concerned about that at all? So that would be something that, you know, if I were coming in as mayor, would I have to go ahead and call some of these businesses that were coming into town and address any concerns? Okay. I suppose that the next thing I would have is, you know, hey, what are some of the ideas that you guys wanted to get done that you didn't get done? And we'll take a look at it, right? I would assume that would kind of be my first 3 questions, or at least something along those lines. What do you think Rod Robertson's first 3 questions were? You're not going to get this anywhere else in local media, by the way. This is exclusive, just so you know. Now, I know that I'm not going to get picked up on any of the other media outlets for saying this because they don't cover stuff that I break. They just, they pretend it's theirs. But what do you think his first 3 questions were? Do you think first of all, Joe, as somebody who grew up in Elkhart, do you think my questions are reasonable for somebody coming in to being mayor of the city?
Yes.
Okay, reasonable. Right?
That makes perfect sense.
Makes perfect sense. We got business to take care of. We've got to make sure that that the city goes forward and there's no damage, right, as a result of taking over. Because there will be businesses who want to go based on a certain ideology of government, and if that changes, and I'm the change of that, then they might be concerned, okay? So, Rod Robertson, question number 1. Are you ready? What kind of car do I get? Question number 2. When do I get it? Question number 3. How much do I get paid every 2 weeks? Casey, do you have any proof that this happened? No. Casey, you're lying to us? No. Casey, how do you get this information? Can't tell you. Can't tell you. Okay. What I can tell you is that my sources are good, but I cannot independently verify the authenticity of the statements, but I trust my sources. And if that's good enough for literally everybody else in media everywhere in the United States of America, then by golly, it's good enough for me. Okay? I've got good sources who say that those were the first 3 questions that Rod Robertson himself asked as he was talking to the transitional teams coming in being mayor of Elkhart. That sounds like things are going to go swimmingly in the city, don't they? He's got one of the top people on his staff is pro-Antifa. I don't know. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. I do not know Rod. I don't know him. I have tried to get to know him. Joe, have you been here witnessing me try to get to know Rod? I have tried. By the way, remember that whole message they sent me about we'll reach out to you after the election? That hasn't happened yet. I just want to make that crystal clear. They keep telling me that they're going to show up eventually and talk to me, and it never happens, okay? So I want everybody to understand something. I believe that my source is accurate. I trust my source, but I don't know 100% with any certainty that this is 100% true, okay? Just want everybody to understand that, but I trust my source. And like I said, if that's good enough for everybody else in the media, then it's certainly good enough for me. And it should be good enough for it to get published in every newspaper and be everywhere in local media, because that's how it works in the media now, right? We have an unsubstantiated anonymous source that tells us something, and we have to run with it immediately, and it's fact, right? That's what it is. Now, if you're sitting here going, Casey, you making a point about believing anonymous sources and you're making this up, I am not making this up. I am telling you the truth. This is what I heard. The first 3 questions out of Rod Robertson's mouth were at the transitional meetings, okay? What kind of car do I get? When do I get it? How much do I get paid every 2 weeks? By the way, look for Rod to increase the pay of mayor. Look for that to be one of the things that happens early on in his administration. So, quote me on that, by the way. Local media people, since I know you listen and I know you watch, local media people, quote me on it. Now, since you don't quote me on anything else, you just take my stories. Beyond that, I don't think that's a great start. Right, Joe? That doesn't sound like that would be a great start, does it? I didn't even know the mayor got a car. I had no idea the mayor got a car. I had no clue, okay? I had no clue. In bigger cities, the mayor generally gets a driver in a car because it's a bigger city, and they're doing work while they're in traffic and that sort of thing. But in Elkhart, I didn't think they got a car. Apparently, they get a car.
He asked if he got a car. Well, he asked what type of car he got.
No, he knew he got a car. He asked what kind of car he was going to get. I thought, who was the mayor before the last guy? Darth, oh gosh, what is his name? He drove the Prius. I
know
gave
what
him
you're
the
talking about
nickname.
now. Yeah.
What is his name? They've got a really horrible bridge named after him, which was a joke, by the way, and he didn't get it. Hold on, I'm looking at my live chat here. Who's the old mayor of Elkhart, guys? Gals? Who is it?
Guys is gender neutral in that term.
Now, come on. Well, social justice warriors would say otherwise. Joe.
Well,
Darth Moore. I did it
it.
on my own. Forget you, live stream. I did it on my own. Dick Moore. Okay? So Darth Moore, who I made that really funny meme of him wearing Darth Vader's helmet in the
like one of the
Prius.
first
Oh
things
my
you
God.
told me about when
That
I
was
got here.
hysterical, though. Darth Moore drove the Prius. I thought that was just his car. I didn't think that he got that from the city, and I don't know that he did. I mean, but apparently they get their own cars. I had no clue. I also happen to know what car he's probably going to pick. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's black and it's big. Okay? Just want you to know that. There's 4 wheels. It's black. It's big. Suburban-esque like vehicle. Okay? Kind of audacious. I'm just letting you know. It's like a $90,000 car. Got more coming up. Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.